Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, welcome back. Long hair don't care. Well, how is it going? What's happening? Man, it makes it look like it's daylight in here. Hold on a minute now. Long hair don't care. I'm gonna start riding skateboards again and relaunch my rock and roll career. Long hair don't care. Or it's this as well. My sister would call it the beard of sadness. I think I named it that, but she got a kick out of it. So that's what's up. Long hair don't care. You saved funds? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I've seen it in a headline, but I have no idea what that means. Uninformed, properly informed, know that both it's all garbage, trash. I don't know. So, yeah, I've seen the acronym. I have no idea what it means, but if funds are involved, I'd take some. Hook it up. What do I have to do? Tell me. Maybe I'm not interested. I don't know. Boom goes the dynamite on this beautiful piece. I'll pass. I'm good, so to say. Oh, would I? Appreciate it. Thanks for setting that up for the rest of us. You know, marginalized groups like that need a spokesperson like you to represent them. Thank you so much. A grand. Dang, dude. And how many people you know that used to keep those old trucks laying around and everybody thought they were crazy? Now look at them. Now would you just look at it? Glad to be here. Got some things I've been working on. Michael Bear, what's going on, dudes? Yikes. Welcome back, y'all. What have you been up to? Did you guys, you know, we do it all here. And so we'll talk about it all here. Anybody see the announcement on the 6S Creighton today? Clipless body, EXB style. The Creighton's a good vehicle no matter which version, is what I'm getting at, though. So you can't go wrong either way. So I'm just peeling off the supports off this recently printed Monster F250 Free-Wing SR. Did they release one? Was he got retracts and stuff? Who bought the Free-Wing SR, what, 71, I suppose? Patiently waiting for flying weather. 70 millimeter, twin 70. I don't watch what they do. I don't watch what they do. You would think I do because my face is all over their shit still. Ugh. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy. The MB Scaler, the Willys Jeep, Bill? Oh, yeah, that can be done. That can be done. I'll take a look at mine maybe in a minute. Yeah, let me take a look at mine in a minute, and we'll verify it. I got one. OG, COVID style. Timber X. Yeah, I don't watch what they do. My bad. And I'm literally not on the internet all day. Well, 12 scale. Don't know. I would be looking at it'd be hard to fit a 10 scale engine in it. So I'd be looking at the 18th scale. Now for the 18 scale, like TRX 4Ms, the aftermarket has come up with brushless systems. So if you were to look at the wheelbase of that 12 scale next to the wheelbase of an 18th scale, you would see that they're very similar in wheelbase. So, Bill, if that was me, I'd be looking at the 18th scale brushless systems, which are going to be available for like the UTB 18 from Axial and also like the TRX 4Ms. There's going to be systems. Yeah, mine is the 6 scale, but it's really 10 scale is what I got. I'm just cleaning off my I just pulled that bumper off. So I have all of my F250 printed off. I don't know if I like the size, but we'll mock it up real quick. It's definitely smaller than I printed off the big Travelall for the 6 scale. Partly because I wanted to, the whole thing, bro. Because I wanted to, so my Travelall, you'll see in a minute, I'll pull it up here. It's huge, it's big, it's really fairly well scale oriented for the arches and the tires. With that, not a ton of flex articulation up. But with the 250, I thought, okay, I want to make this one, I'm going to bring it in some. First of all, I sized it up so the wheelbase worked. So that a little bit, you get what you get. But that also brought it in. So the wheels are sticking out more on that one. And I'm going to probably be willing to cut on the arches a little bit. And it's going to perform, it'll have more articulation than the Travelall does, is what I'm, long story longer, is what I'm getting at there. So it's sizable difference. It really is. But I have been with the kids. I have not had a chance to clean up. So I'm going to maybe glue a couple bits together. Yeah, Jerry, the post office takes forever, dude. I'm sorry. Good thing I didn't drag my feet, man. You know? Anybody else wants a battery tray for the Hanger 9 Kristen Eagle, message me or something if you don't have a printer and you're you're into it, I'll do it. Keith Christie told me he wanted one. And so once the printer's free, I'm just going to stack up a few. I'll bump print a few. And yeah. And after a couple of weeks, I'll be able to retire off of that battery tray. So thanks so much. Lol, but seriously, yeah. So yeah, let me clear off some space and I'm going to bring up this Ford. I want to glue the bed together. It's all printed, but I got just a little bit to glue on. And I think maybe we'll do that together. But I'll show you what I got first on it. You see about a wider shot, just a little. Oh, the grill. Dude, is that sick or what? What's up, Happy RC Flyer? Yeah, dude, F250, man. I'm excited about it. I just had to do it. And now I have the file, so if I want to make a small one, I can. 1969 is what this is. But it looks to be very similar to the 70s as well. So I'm okay with cutting the arches up a little bit, make them a little bigger so they work on this SCX6. So that's what I'm going to probably do. At this point, well, I don't know what else I'd put it on. It's got me really thinking about axles, making things. I think I'll get there eventually, but I definitely want to figure out my own chassis and stuff, man. Because then I'll just put things where I want. But I think we may wrestle the gluing up some of these bits so I can mock this up a little bit. Did they have you send that F86 in, or what'd they do for you, boss? What'd they end up doing for you? Happy RC Flyer. Dude, the Rover bodies are, I don't have one, but from Kelly and Kirk's have mentioned that it's even cinder lighter than like the stock like honcho body, man. Boss, that's great. I know that's a nuisance, but I'm glad they did that for you. What's up, Victor? Philip, boss, everybody, man, good to see you. I probably didn't do roll call like kind of normal, but my bad. Talk about movies. Look up Mr. Majestic. It's a Bronson movie with a Ford truck. Bro, I don't watch a lot of TV, but the kids have shows they're into. And I always notice everything when it comes to the trucks. And if there were planes, I'd notice that as well. Palmer watches a show where one of the guys that owns a diner has, I swear it's an F-250, and it's sick. So the way we slice these, there's never, at least in what I do, I don't have a real, there's no tabs. I just am butt joining this stuff. And it's tricky, actually. And it's a little bit something to even endeavor to do it while I'm on live right now, because it's one of those things that you have to close one eye and stick out your tongue kind of stuff, you know? Yeah, those guys are on tonight. They're fun. I go in there just to hang out. He promotes me, and I appreciate that, but that's not why I show up. Those guys are fun. And I know they stream on Sunday and Thursday, so I don't even mention my stuff when I'm over there. I just legit am having a good time listening to those guys. And I know the Basher's pretty good, man, especially that the Armas. Yeah, I just have recently printed this one off, Happy. And what I like doing, I almost think of it like a spot weld. I kind of try to get a couple things right and then tack weld it, so to speak. And I try to do the gluing on the inside. So just to keep it nice. But as soon as I get this glued together, I'll put it on the truck and you can see what I'm dealing with. What are you working on, Jeff? Come on, don't tell me that. There we go. You'll put your eye out, kid. Bad Sport SE5, sweet. SE5, dude. You're gonna have to put a car battery in the front end of that thing. Don't breathe. Too late. Too late, man. Sis, what the heck? My sister's in here, y'all. I don't even want to tell them that you have a YouTube. You'll have all these old RC dudes checking you out. My sister's a hairdresser and she's fabulous. She's just fabulous, period. You know what's hilarious, Jen? Why did you decide to come tonight after all this many years? I'm curious because it's hilarious. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned the beard of sadness because I was talking about long hair don't care, you know, and it's thinner on the top than it used to be, but you know, I work from home, so there's a huge IDGAF ability to my existence at this point. And so Dad's here. He comes like every time, sis. So Beard of Sadness, remember? I don't know if you came up with that or I came up with it, but I remember you thinking it was hilarious. You know, depression, anxiety, that stuff's hilarious, right? Family reunion. You guys all have to leave. So my sister's rocking it right now, man. She's got her own thing going. She's been doing loads of social media. It's her angle, you know. Obviously, it's not going to be RC or whatever, but it's her. And you know, as is always the case, Big Brother was first to the party of life here on planet Earth this time around, anyway. And Brooke was in Australia, and I was low, and I had a beard of sadness. And back then, I think it was the first beard I'd ever had, or something. That's so funny. Good to see you. Did you lose your TikTok, Jen, when all that happened, or do you have it still? Brooke was in Australia. Yeah, we hadn't been dating long. I was sick too. I probably had like a abscessed tooth or something hiding my elephant man face. We're survivors, man. That's all I'm saying. Fun. So this is it, sis. I used to do airplane show. I still do airplane show on Saturday for years. I moved it to Sunday. I got into these trucks so crazy, and I didn't want to bother my airplane guys with talking about all this truck stuff on my airplane show. So I started a Thursday. Yeah. But you know what's interesting too is like obviously so many of these fellas in the room, they've got ladies in their life too, hairdressers, whatever like that. So you're fun. Did you lose your you still got both? So when they got rid of, I have one, but when they said they were getting rid of it, I made the mistake of like deleting the app or something. And so now I don't know how to get back to it, but it's okay. I'm not worried about it. But I had it. I had one. Yeah. I wasn't there to dance, but yeah. My for short form, my Instagram is what did good for me. I'm not even that active on it, but I still have oh, I don't know, 33,000 or something on Instagram. The funny thing, and I'm sure you've learned this, sis, is the crossover. It isn't what you think it's gonna be. You like I remember starting off the short form thinking it was going to be great to promote the long form like YouTube or whatever. And yeah, don't ever ignore and Facebook, I did it just because I knew people were there, but I didn't really want to do Facebook. But Facebook's good. It's good. It's not a bad place to be. So if any of these guys come check you out and creep you out, let me know, sis, because I'm still your big brother. We can ban them. I love you. It's so fun to see you. Actually, it's what a surprise. Man, me and her would cut up, dude. We would cut up with the reason we got split up and didn't get to grow up together is because my grandpa could not even handle the energy we had. Professional at having fun, bro. Right? What's up, K2H? Are you double dipping streams, man? You double dipping? I think you're and man, I know me and Ty are on at the same time, and I don't ever mean to be on anybody. So I don't even pop in over there till I'm done with my show. And I never mention it, but it's one of those things. We all do our own thing, and then we've discovered each other, and it seems to say, I won't tell then. I won't tell. It is what it is, man. I'm not here to take anything away. But I've been doing this for a minute on Thursdays, and I started my airplane show 6 years ago, but YouTube 2012. Dad, I remember when I first started fixing these airplanes. You remember before we knew about CA and Kicker, how all of my airplane repairs look like a science project? I'd have like straight pins and Elmer's glue and junk dripping out of it. I had no idea how to do it yet. And CA for the win, bro. I'm still super happy with that technology, adhesive technology. Hey, sis, since you're here, are you just working for yourself, or are you still at a place that's like corporate? Because I'm just wondering if you're doing these jobs from home. Um, they must be clients you already had. Because if it's at your house, where do you put the "Just Say No to Booga Wolf" sign? Is it on the front door, like by appointment only, no Booga Wolves? or what? Or what? I don't even know if epoxy was something. I wasn't even messing with epoxy yet at that time, Dad. I was like legit, like straight pins and Elmer's glue, waiting forever for stuff to dry. And then I didn't discover it. Everybody had already been using it all along. But I realized that this 2-part Cyana whatever stuff yourself 100%. So no booger wolves. My sister's a trip. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. I know she's dying too right now. That's right, boss. You met my dad in Muncie. I think that maybe a few of you have. All right. Well, I have properly stunk up the joint. No barillas. You might appreciate some of this, man. Palmer's into Gilmore Girls right now, sis. I never saw that show before until now. And then Rafe, these kids are spoiled rotten because remember how when you watched a show, you had to wait a week for the next one. And when it was in between seasons, it was like months, like brutal. Now you can watch one after the other and not have to wait a week in between. So she's into that. The little one's into Full House. I'm living in a time machine. Little one's in a Full House. Gilmore Girls for Palmer. And Rafe and I we're in season 6 of the X-Files and we've watched every one. Life is good, man. Yeah. Life is good. I remember you had to bail when the Hulk came on. When you were at grandparents with me, I watched the Hulk. You couldn't hang. You couldn't hang. She had to take you to bed, dude. She had to take you to bed because you'd have funny dreams. Not the kind that Chantix give you, but the kind that, nightmares. The Hulk seems really tame now compared to what's out there, right? Watch one Stranger Things and it's like, holy smokes, here's a demon dude who's wearing his guts inside out, chilling in the high school. And we couldn't take an obviously fake muscle-bound green dude with ashy skin running around the joint with ripped up clothes like he just left Lollapalooza. What? I mean, can I get a witness? Yeah, man. Time warp. Just how I refuse to age past 17 still. All right. So F250 looking mean. I have the bed bits printed off and I'm going to maybe glue them up while I've got you guys, but I already know it's not going to fit because oddly satisfying, man. You have no idea. What's up, Hubert? So this looks fantastic, but I already know this is going to be stupid. I already know I'm going to have to cut the floor out of this bed quite a bit to make it work. I don't know yet. I'm thinking a sagey mint kind of green. And I'm also thinking about, example. So this one, leaf spring, trying to be as true to scale and period specific as possible with this travel all, right? Now, when I show you the big one, you'll know what I mean. Hold up. Wait a minute now. I got CA kicker on my joint. Good Ford color. Yeah. I'll show you the picture of the inspiration here in a second, but check out. So you saw the little travel all and how I'm like kind of going for period type rims, white bumpers, scale to the year, right? Well, the big travel all is a little more rowdy where it's not on leaf springs, it's on coilover, like 4-link suspension, bigger tires, that kind of thing. And that's going to apply to the Ford as well. Lyndon, what up, man? Good to see some of the airplane dudes popping in. And we can talk about that too. But this is my, what do I call this? Tiny Truck Fab Garage Show episode live. I'm trying to be as ridiculous as possible on the name. So like the branding on the shirt, it'll start here and then halfway around the back of your shirt will be the title of the show. Okay. Hernia style. So, dude, this is so big. I'm getting really close to having this mounted to the chassis, but you can see it's not on all the way, but it's basically where it's going to be. And so these are some massive tires. And of course, it's the F86 chassis. So it's 4-link coilovers. And one thing that I think is a real big indicator of what kind of performance I'm going to get is like the tires are barely peeking out. Right. So even though this is a real monster, it's pretty right on the scale proportions. The Ford is definitely way different than that. Sis, these things are all 3D printed, man. Can you believe it? These, not everything, but the bodies are. See you later, sis, if you're splitting. Pop it, dude. I will. I'll never stop. I'm crazy. So yeah, that was 2 halves. And then the black stripe, I just taped it off and used that plastic weld glue stuff to fill that seam. So I got a little more work to do there, but actually looks cool. I think, you know how they told you to show your work in math class? Sometimes there's something about showing my work on these processes that seems appropriate to think about as well. I just want to show you the fenders real quick on the travel all, just after like scrubbing and sanding. And this is nowhere close, but you can see some of the blue has really exposed itself. The light is just way too intense. But I did some more of that black plastic glue on one of the seams to fill it in better and strengthen it. And so when I was cleaning that up and scrubbing it, it was really cool to see what my rust and blue paint underneath had done. And so just getting into the wet sand process here soon. But I thought when I did the Ford, let's make it more performance and less scale. and be willing to. I actually really want another one of these STX6s, because if I don't do, I have to make the bodies where they're interchangeable without doing a whole lot of work to do it. I already know, like for the truck, that all these inner fenders on the back have to go now too. But with the travel all, I don't need to get rid of them. So it's like, what am I going to do? So I want another STX6. There, I said it. All right, so now you're going to see what I mean. Now, remember earlier I was saying how the wheels definitely stick out, right? And honestly, this body needs to be down here, because you'll see what I mean. The grill's not going to stay. Just go ahead. It's just so big. And this desk is huge, but still, I have so much stuff on it. So dig how much tire's sticking out on this one. A lot, right? A lot. So I'm definitely going to have to cut the arches up for this to work. But making it this size, I need to cut some back here so I can get over the transmission business, because legit, this thing needs to sit. This front end here fits right on this cross member perfectly, and so the bumper stuff's going to be amazing. So imagine this here is setting on the skid plate, and so there's no chassis hanging down. I like to make it as low as possible, but that also creates the necessity to arch this up. And generally on an arch, I'll pick one side to leave factory and then make the other one work. So I've definitely got some. It depends on all that, Philip. Yeah, 100%, man. But as far as wheelbase goes, I know this doesn't look right because it's not sitting. That's a little better if I do that. I've got some options here, and this moves back because there's a space, and I gotta cut a little bit on the arches. So this is as good as we're gonna see it right now. Nice. So you get the idea. Like, I'm fairly close. I'm pretty close on the arches and the wheelbase. Definitely closer than I was. I did start another one of these that was much bigger, but the arch was so far in the back, I wasn't sure I wanted to mess with it. And I'm still trying to make up my mind. But just like with the travel all, I thought it was a mess. Remember, I used all those different materials and I had warps and cracks and all that. But dude, with that plastic weld, like epoxy stuff, I was able to fill that up and finish it and make it look pretty good. So I'm like, whatever I make, if I decide to see it through, it'll be fine, is what I'm getting at. Yeah, it's going to be all right. And I mean, I already know that this has got shocks and coilovers. I'm going to have to chop the bed up inside a bunch for this shock tower in the back. But yeah, these inner fenders are going to probably have to come off for the truck body, which means I either have to, this is so big, I'm just going to move it so I can sit down and talk. But two things. Either I put these back on and run the travel all, or I figure out a way to not need these at all, for both vehicles. What was really great about these being flat on the top and everything, and the body of the Travelall, was I still have the cross member I can use to do what I want to do, but I'm going to have to recreate inner fenders. So it's like if I recreate the inner fenders and have them be part of the body of the Travelall, I think that works. But I already have these. So it's like legit, it's like 3 screws. So it's not that big a deal. Honestly, I'm taking them off right now because I just want to see something. I'm going to see the truck bed on it. So let's do that real quick. Why not? Why not? So it's going to be a 2.5-er, maybe a 3. Grab my bits up in here. You can see why you want sis, I'll check that out in a minute. She just tagged me in Facebook or something. She's funny, man. I mean, it's not the same kind of stuff, but she's funny and she's hilarious. She is not shy, and she's got some great kids and they have fun together. My niece and her cut up, and it's pretty funny stuff, without a doubt. And we love her. Yeah, room for a 12-pack. What are you talking about? Let's go ahead and take these things off real quick because I want to see. It really should just be a couple. That's not bad, actually. That's not bad, dude. To put these back on or something, that's not bad. If it's, oh yeah, sweet. And the best way to not lose the screws, you know what it is? Yes, you know what it is. Put them back in while you messing around. The thing about that bed too is I could probably design it to not be full depth and kind of cheat it. So, but again, like I'm really aiming on making this one a performer. And so I don't mind if I can actually see some of the bed shock business in the back of the truck. If it was a leaf spring deal, I would definitely go for getting rid of that, but it's not, and it's never gonna be. So making a regular truck, I know what I'm getting into. And I thought about even trying to repurpose a different bed that's like smaller and has more exaggerated fender flares, and then I could make it whatever size I want. Eric Quinn, that's what I'm talking about. No, they're not. Most of my stuff has its own dedicated chassis for it. And part of that is because you're inventing it as you go. Now, Kelly and Kirk have done a good job to make theirs interchangeable. However, everybody does things differently. I like the way I spend a lot of effort getting mine to sit super low. I don't want anything hanging out chassis wise. And so that's something that I spend I do. I got to get rid of that bumper too. I got to get rid of this bumper, man. I got this thing stripped down to it. So the bumper is going to be a big old 3 millimeter. So yeah, that's the goal, Eric, but it's just not been what happens so far. It's easier said than done. But what I want to see and or develop is stuff that I can use for body mounts on multiple different things. That would be slick. Because yes, interchangeable bodies would be nice without having to mess around too much and being able to use the same chassis. Fantastic. Oh, that's right. Those don't screw in there. SCX6 stripped down. Mike's in here. Why is his comments not showing up? I'll have to check and make sure something didn't happen accidentally. Because if it's possible, somebody's. Let me see if I can get on YouTube and check it out. Because, all right, now with the bumper gone, you can see how. This is really, I mean, because this is kind of the benchmark, right? So that's pretty low, which means I'm cutting a lot of arch on the tire. Because there's got to be some upward travel. Nobody blocked Mike on purpose. He may be blocked though. I'll take a look. I have to do it on my phone because I'm on StreamYard. I'm not on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. You see me on YouTube, but I'm not on YouTube. I'll take a look. But this is yeah. I just got to cut I'll have to cut the arches a lot because I don't want to raise this stuff up a bunch because I don't want to see the chassis. And that's why I don't care. I mean, look how much this stuff is hanging out. So it's like either you leave it or I may be able to do the floor, but there's going to be a huge hole in the middle. And of course, I can put something in there to cover it up and clean it up, which is kind of cool. And I can do that. But there's going to be a lot to do on this one. As soon as I get this off of here, I'll see what I can find out about Mike. But yeah, this body comes down. And I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be cutting anyway. So I've got room to cut back in here and up. It's going to be cut out, dude. It will. And these tires stick way out on this one. It's going to be old school performance based quite a bit. But it looks killer. Look what else has been coming along a little bit. I think the big 2.2 tires on it are a good choice. Let me see what I can find out though. 2 different size tires on it right now. Pocket blocking happens. It's super easy to do. And there's no reason that he would have been blocked. Mike's been with us forever, man. So if it's something, if it's what's happened, it's 100% accident. Because it's my channel, it doesn't really pop up on here the same way. Let me see if I can get in. If anybody else can undo it, I don't think you'll be able to. But if a moderator can do it. Okay, so are you guys seeing them on YouTube, but not in here? Tell me what
Okay, so are you guys seeing them on YouTube?
Tell me what's happening. And if you're listening, Mike, you ought to be able to hit me up in Messenger or anywhere, email, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to, unless his name's right here, I'm not going to be able to click him to see what's up. How are you guys seeing him? Is that why you're mentioning him? Like what how do we know he's not just not here? That's what I want to know. Wait, somebody said hi to him. What? I have no idea. Just not in the chat. Well then, okay. Am I missing something? Like I literally have to go. Yeah, I'm not going off platform or the interface window I'm on, unless I have to. It's something that if it's on, I'd have to turn it off from like the main screen, homepage kind of YouTube. That didn't make any sense. Well, if y'all saw him, then it's cool, right? I'm not gonna be derail the whole thing over this though right now. Manimal. I'm looking back to see if I see him at all. Yeah, it doesn't make sense if you guys could see him, but I can't. I'm not sure what's up. I mean, if somebody was blocked, then nobody'd see him, right? Isn't that it? Yeah, man. I'm in StreamYard interface here on the machine. So I'll have to look at the list of blocked a-holes because Mike doesn't belong on there, but I can't do it now. All right. Anyway, what else? Y'all are asking Mr. Low Key Guy to do all kinds of not me stuff. I can't do it. I don't even advertise the stream. I just go live. There's no half hour remind me later business. So this has been cool. And I was wanting to try these are the tires off the Jimny, and they're okay. They're not quite big enough. So probably not, but I have put on some 2.2s on here that seem super good in those arches. So I think this Traxxas TRX4 portal axle Unimog Mercedes on 2.2s is going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to be a really neat scale performer. Better than scale performer. You know, I think it's going to function really great. I do. And I think it's going to look really scale. I mean, the body, it's tall, but there's not a lot of it. So I think that works, you know. But the 2.2s definitely are what's up. Whether it's Patagonias or I think Jeff has like Super Swampers or something on his, but I'll definitely use what I have more than likely. And remember last time I was talking about when I lost, there's the fenders on, and you know, it's a lot of screw together stuff, and I'm not getting too far done because I have to run lights. And if I'm going to run lights, I'm not going to button it up all the way. But what's cool is, you remember last time I was telling you the inner fenders that came on this weren't going to work for me. But when you take off the inner fenders, you lose the shock towers. Guess what? I found the files for shock towers, and I made them. In this one, you can see it's got the drag link or whatever mount on it as well. So probably not as strong as stock ones, but it also cost me less than 30 cents probably. So that's cool. I think I still may get their inner fenders, because what's wrong with my inner fenders is they have the receptacle for the clipless body, which makes things not want to sit down properly. But if I had the regular non-clipless body inner fenders, I think I may be able to use those inner fenders and the body. Because when I have the body on here, you can see a whole lot of the electronics and everything through where the wheel inner fender should be. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I still need to order. I haven't found the file for the regular TRX4 bumper mounts. So I'm able to actually mount this bumper here at the moment. There's nowhere for it to mount to. So I've got to get some of that. And then when you get those bits, you get the rear one as well, because there's a lot I can do with the bed too. There's lots of options. There's part of me, Philip, that's thinking about leaving this thing gray like it is. But there's a huge part of me as well that wants to go flat black like my buddy Crowder's Unimog. He's got a real one. And it's mean, dude. It is mean. And so I'm either going to keep it this. That's what I say. Chances are I'm going to want to paint it and weather it and stuff like that. But sometimes you save that effort for something else. Like if I'm going to beat around in 2-speed this Traxxas thing. And what's cool, see that hole in the floor? It fits perfectly on the gear shifter business right here. This piece. And it screws to the cross member that is stock. And then I had to screw this thing on. And I got my tanks and stuff put on there. Yeah, it's not a bad print. And generally with the print, it's if you don't like the way it looks, you just have to orient it different. Like where it looks bad, you decide where you want it to look bad at. And sometimes to have it look good like this, I may be waiting longer for that print to get done because there's a lot of supports so the top end looks nice or whatever. But there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to that. But I mean, there's a lot of times where I print stuff more than once. There's one side of that Ford I hate it. I'm gonna have to work my butt off on that side. But that's okay. I will. I'll just sand the dog fiddlings out of it. And it's not even the cost of the plastic, it's the time on the machine that I can't stand to let go for no reason. So literally, when I first built that Travelall, I was not happy with the parts, but I glued it together anyway because I wanted to see it and size it up. And then I was like, okay, this plastic weld adhesive will be a great filler. And I was able to clean it up and make it all right. So I don't mind losing the plastic, but I hate losing the time on the machine. It's a lot of hours to print off some of this stuff. This little 10 scale stuff, not so much, but the big parts that you have to glue halves or quarters together to get the whole piece, those are taking some time, man. Like, without a doubt. So yeah, that fits so smartly right on the thing. It's amazing. Amazing. And the 2.2s is what's up. I think this is a great size tire for what this truck's going to be. Because these military tires, I think they were a really good idea. Except they're not big enough. And so regular crawler tires are this size. And they would look too small. You know? I feel like if you're deflected all the way, you ought to be into it. You know, it's into it just a little bit. And this one is a kit made for the TRX4, so wheelbase is what it is. You know, like whatever we see here is what we're getting. And I could make adjustments, but everything fits too good to want to change it. So yeah, I've gotten a lot, kind of moving along on this a little bit now. And I think there'll be a point where it's like this thing's ready to drive. But I need to order the lights up, a couple little bumper bits. I have some options on the rear fenders on what this is going to. This is still stock, and you can see these high bits here. That's what I was talking about on the front. These are what receive the clipless body deal, so they stand tall off of the inner fender, and that's what messed me up in the front. But the regular ones won't have these. So I'm going to try them because you can see how much open look there is there. I think that the stock inner fenders will be fine as long as they're not the clipless body version. But anyway, I have opportunities to make some real kind of squarish fenders or keep these roundies like are on the front back here. What's your vote? I already know what I want to do. I kind of want to have the round ones back here too. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be some of this flat panel, looking business too. So options. Yeah, those doors open. There's magnets I have to install. Go with the round ones, Dad. That's what I think. But the 2.2s are perfect. Those 2.2 Patagonias is what I actually have on the Golden Nugget, which is also in progress. So I don't mind stealing them. But that Unimog deserves the like kits. Oh, it's going to get a bed, Roy. Yeah. It's going to get a bed. There's some options I have for the bed. And I printed off a lot of the bits so far, but I'm kind of thinking, you know, that we fender it like the front, which is one of the ways you can go in the instructions. And there's also a file. Let me show you, because it's from a different creator, but it's for the same vehicle and it's a Unimog. And the reason I may buy this bed file, I was talking about making my own, and I still might. But this bed file that I'm getting ready to show you has body mounts and chassis mounts for Traxxas, Axial, and Vanquish. And I want to buy the file just to have these mounts that I can manipulate to use in the future. So for whatever. And so I think that is why, even if I build my own bed, I'm still going to buy a bed file. This didn't come with a bed file. This comes with the bed bits. I can buy the bed file for this one for like $7. And it's for a TRX 4. But if I buy the other one for like $10, it's a bed for a TRX 4, but it's also the mounts for the Axial and Vanquish stuff. I'm like, I'm getting that one just so I have the mounts that I can use down the road. So that's what I'm thinking. I spend it wisely when I do on this stuff, I think. See you later, man. Thanks for coming by, bro. Spencer, see ya. And we'll dip in a minute. And did anybody find out what happened to our buddy? Has he been trying to get in? Anyway, somebody let me know, man, if they were able to talk to Mike and SSI and he was trying to get in and couldn't. Because it could just be he's not here. But if he's here trying to get in, I want to fix that. I can't do it right this minute. If anybody knows, let me know in Messenger or something or whatever. It was Mike Bird. Did he come in and leave? His channel should be fine. I'll check on him too, though. Neither one of those guys should be blocked. Bird's been busy just moving here to the States. Okay, let me find this and then I'll share and show you what I'm talking about. Man could make a fortune selling files. If they're good. If you look at that Andre Barodzny guy that I get some of my files from, it shows you on his profile like 20,000 downloads at $20 a whack. I mean, he ain't making all that. The network has to be making something. But his stuff is fantastic, though. And until my stuff is able to be used in a mass way, it's not worth putting it out because no one's going to need it. It's weird. Like travel all mounts for FMS 1.6 Jimny, if you scaled it up to 115.41%, if you use the 10 scale files, not the 8 scale files, it's like just selling an airplane rack that's only for 64 millimeter A10. Know what I mean? Or wheel chocks. One size only. Okay, let me try to find this file. And then I'm going to get off and listen to someone else talk about RCs and work on mine. That's what I'm going to do. Per Ollie. Okay. Colts 3D. Boom. Go ahead on and go there, please. Thank you. Those are ugly. I was looking for inner fenders on here too, and I found some, but they're all right. They're all right. And they may be fine for what I'm doing. But anyway, we're not looking at inner fenders. So TRX 4 Unimog bed. Unimag. I spelt it wrong. You know, it's funny. We're spoiled with Google, how good it is. When you spell something wrong, it's still awesome. But like some sites, they do not have that search engine ability. And honestly, what's I think true here is that this Unimog 406 that I'm looking at for the bed is what Mike Bird was talking about a while back. And I wasn't into it because I didn't like the cab was too square, but the bed is what I like. And I already have the body. So if it's a TRX4, what's the diff? So, all right, let's share screen. J-Man, what up? Hey, no double dipping, dude. Sergeants. Oh, y'all raiding on me. Oh no, I was about to dip. I was calling out anybody I reckon. Good to see you guys. Hey, I was calling out anybody. You missed the best part. I showed everything off. I was calling out everybody that I recognize from your show as double dippers, man. I just got done showing this. I'm working on this 3D printed. This is a TRX4, throwing some 2.2s on it. And right now, I'm getting ready to show the guys the file for the bed that I'm going to get, because the bed files come with mount brackets and stuff for TRX4s, Axials, and Vanquish. And so when I buy files, I try to buy a file that has the most stuff, because I'll use it later on something else. Scale it up, shrink it down, stretch it out, smack it up, flip it down. Oh no, you know what I mean? So that's what I'll do. And so I'm just now getting ready to show the fellas. Oh, it's going to be sick, dude. I've got some. That's a custom crawler. Bros, hold on. Since you're here, I'm going to do this. I made this one for my dad. I'm getting ready to get it to him. This is totally custom, 3D printed and weathered up. This is from the movie Tremors. And it's on a, I took a FMS leaf sprung chassis, smacked it up, flipped it, and rubbed it down, and put the axles on the other side of the leaves. I got a license plate for a floor. I got real wood on the bed, chains. Yeah. So we're doing it over here, man. And look at the windshield, dust. I made the stencil. So it's not a sticker, man. It's looking legit. And as soon as I get the video done on this for real, like running, then I'll get it to my pops. And leaf sprung stuff, man, it never is going to perform, but they still perform really good, but not like a full linked out coilover. But that's okay. Some of those trucks are so stinking good, it's almost not a challenge. When you got something that's more scale and boxy or got leaf springs on it, you got to use your momentum. You don't have the finesse crawl. You got to use your momentum and almost bash up it, like when you're getting unstuck in the snow or whatever, right? Good to see you guys. I really just enjoy y'all's stream, and did not come over for any reason, man. I'm not trying to do anything but enjoy it. But thanks for coming. And since you guys are fresh to coming over here, I'm going to show you 3D printed This thing's dope. I got a sick running video of it. Axial Base Camp Builders Kit. And I used the files for the CJ7 fully articulated driver and interior and repurposed them, stretched them out, cut them up, and made them work with this one. This is off the Fabrat's YouTube channel. I modeled it really as close as I could get to that. And this is the tires are scaled to size. And you know, when I'm making one of these bodies, I scale it up to fit the wheelbase. And then when I did the math on the tires, this is like a 1/8.5 scale, to be honest. But it's a 10 scale crawler chassis, but it's because they lump them all together, right? These tires are right on the real one. Now, a real Willys wagon would have been leaf sprung and everything, but this is coil over and 4-linked, 3-linked really. But these guys that did the full scale 1-to-1, they threw a Super Duty chassis with an LS in it, and it's just like this. So could be a leafer, but I made this one after the build on YouTube. So pretty sweet. Dope video. This one is out already and in snow. This has got that. This is the Axial CJ7 with the Night Customs 3D printed interior. The driver actually moves. I got Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws head on there. And I changed the tires up. And best free mod on these trucks. Without replacing the stock shocks, I can drop this truck about a 1/2 inch for free. 4 bolts. 4 bolts. And you put the shocks down in to share with the link location instead of their own perch. Good to go. Good to go. All right. There's a lot of cool stuff here, man, that way. And some really nice ready to run stuff, but like I've been digging the customs a bunch. I think they came and went. That's cool. They came by. Let me show you guys the file that I was talking about. It's cool, man. I mean, I think making stuff work that maybe wouldn't have worked is what really gets me. And the CJ, it's a ready to run. I did a little bit to it, but I did just put out a video on the CJ7, but it's not like a review because in my mind I was thinking about the title for the video should be why my CJ is better than yours. I thought would be funny. And I haven't done that video. That was more just running with the fellas, so I kind of left it alone. But literally for really cheap, you can make an RTR beat everybody else's. And it's not about beating everybody else's, but if beating everybody else's just means yours doesn't fall over, I mean, that's kind of what you're going for. So there's some things you can do for like nothing that'll help you. And then if you throw in that nothing with a little bit of spend the right money, your stuff is dope. All right, share. I do want to get over to see those fellas before they split. The CJ and my Vanquish FJ45 kind of off screen are my best performers. Dwayne. Yeah, that can be done. The trick on these bodies, the bodies is easy. Figuring out how to mount them up and how much floor are you willing to cut up is always the question. If you're adept at solving the problems and you're in for that problem, getting a Land Rover body printed off for somebody wouldn't be awful. All I'd want to know is the wheelbase, and it would come to you in pieces. You know, it depends on the guy. like if you're willing to glue it all together. So Dwayne, well, I got guys, I know we are going to get to this file, but the show is what it is. So we take it where it goes. Dwayne, I think I saw you ask about the Land Rover the other day, and of course it was on a show and we didn't get a connect on it. So to answer your question, can a Land Rover go on a TRX4? Yes. This is the same Land Rover that we're using on the SEX6s, except it's small. So this one's on an axial base camp builder's kit, straight axle, right? But yeah, and the TRX4s have a couple different wheelbases. So it helps to know when you're picking how big to make it. But like with this one, I wanted my wheels to ride on the arches this way, what I consider correct. And so there's a couple things you can do. You can scale up or down the print. And you can also lengthen the links and play with the chassis too. So all of that depends on how much you want to do, right? And I'll just tell you, this thing, how many pieces this came in. This is its own piece. The middle piece is its own piece. The window is a piece. Like this door, the window's a piece. The front side and middle, and each side was like 8 to 9 pieces. And then you've got the middle and where they meet, all that stuff. So there is a lot of gluing assembly and potentially finish work. So if I was going to print one off for somebody, man, honestly, I just would want to make sure somebody knew what they were getting into. And then you're on your own, dude. Because otherwise it'd be a ton of money. I mean, even just the print time, it's, I use my printer all the time. So if I'm doing something for somebody as big as this, multiple prints and pieces and time on the machine, it's not the plastic that costs you, it's the time you don't have your machine. What's up, Richard B? So it is definitely doable. I can be found. You can email me at info@pilotryanmedia.com. You could messenger me on Instagram or Facebook as well, if you're interested. And man, honestly, I'm not really trying to do it. So, I mean, I don't want to do it, kinda. So, I mean, I gotta have like $50 easy for tying up my machine enough to print these pieces up and ship it to you. But it is doable. So, I mean, legit, one of these custom crawlers, like the kit is $300. Then you got to build it and put your power system in it. And then you've got to print it, and then you've got to do it. I wouldn't sell one of these for less than $1,000 all day. $50 is cheap because it should be $100 easy. Because I'm not trying to be mean or nothing. And I'd love to get into this kind of business. I mean, if I could do a handful of that kind of thing, I could afford to buy another printer, and then I could maybe do it for less. But yeah, I'm brand new to it. But the answer is yes. It can be done. I should have said a few hundred. If I have to glue it together and make it like this first, it would easily be a few. But if I'm sending you the pieces in Ziploc bags, it's a hundo. Because yeah, but this is exactly the same files my buddies are using for the big ones. And Kelly printed this off for me, but I put it together before I had a printer. So this was my first 3D printed build. And I don't know if you notice, but it's dope. The interior's cut out just right where I could set this thing down as low as possible. It's dope. And these are on little 3.98 tires. It's the smallest crawler tires I have on anything. And I need to do a video on this one, but this son of a gun gets along. And I mean, the body, the fender is the bump stop. The wheel just, crams it there. And that is what it is. But it's actually got some decent articulation. But this is basically like if you wanted a boom racing kit without spending $700 and you wanted to put it on a coilover. If I put it together, do you think it would ship good, not break? You'd have to pack the dog fiddlings out of it. But I think it could be done. I think it could be done. I mean, at that point, let's just send me the damn TRX4, call it $1,000, 1,200, and I'll do it. I'll custom one up, but it takes time. And it'd be cool, it'd be a fun project, but it could be done. It could be done. But man, it's gotta do something for me to take me way off of my stuff. My TRX4 High Trail, I'm into about 1,300. You know what's hilarious about the High Trail? What's the best thing you can do to a High Trail if you want it to perform? Answer in the chat below. I know my answer. Yeah, that thing's sick. And I ended up buying a bunch of boom racing like elements to dress that one up. I mean, legit, by the time I was done messing with that one, I could have had a boom racing kit, not crawl with it. Yeah, the best thing you can do to a High Trail is take off those damn 2.2s and put 90 millimeter shocks on it. First thing. Because they're cool. And for a mud truck, I think they're amazing. But the High Trails don't side hill worth a damn. They just can't do it. They're too top heavy. They're cool. And I really do kind of enjoy the 2-speed aspect. Hilarious story for you, Dwayne. So this Unimog was the 2021 Traxxas Bronco. That's what it was. So I've got experience with the stock 2021 Traxxas Bronco, which was amazing. And they didn't make a High Trail version of the 2021 Bronco, but they offered the High Trail shock kit and link business before they started releasing the models. And so I had ran the stock 2021 Traxxas Bronco and one that we High Trailed 2.2s. We did the kit, High Trail kit, everything. So I had experience with a stock out of the box 2021 Traxxas Bronco and a High Trail 2021 Traxxas Bronco. The stock one killed the other one on performance. And it's hilarious to me that for the High Trail version of the one I had to perform at all, I had to spin all the preload out of it, put a bunch of brass on it, and that one had all the things. Dude, we did the winch, the lights. I was doing it through a hobby shop at the time. And so I put everything on it. High trailed it, brass, the winch, the lights. Was there something else they had? If there was something, I did it to that truck. And it wasn't as good as the stock one on 1.9s. It looked cooler, but it didn't perform as good, Yeah, yeah, rock lights. Had them too. That's right. I don't know what else. And the kitchen sink, I think. So yeah, I think the high trails look cool. And this thing, because of what it is, this is the only thing I have with tutus on it. And these tutus came off another project that's kind of scale and it's 6 scale. The FMS Jimny uh chassis, but I actually built the back and the sides for it to make the golden nugget from YouTube. Anyway, so I needed these tires to fill up the wheel wells on it. But otherwise, that's going to be those two are the only 2.2 things I've had. I've driven and did reviews on the high trail, and so my opinion's based on something, but I've not owned one. I wanted that Blazer they've got, that 72 Blazer. I wanted it really bad, but I didn't get it because it was high trail. And it does have a shorter wheelbase than the other high trails, that 72 cherry red Blazer. It's beautiful. Dwayne, SCX6 seems to go on sale all the time, and you can get one for like $250 off. It seems like occasionally. If that comes up, they're fun. 10 scale is my favorite, but in the wintertime, we've had a blast. Actually, this winter is the most my 6 has been out since I first got it. But it is a huge, awesome platform to mess with. But dude, everything I'm doing for SCX6 takes a ton of time. It's like the 10 scale is my sweet spot for sure. And you cannot go wrong with that base camp builders kit. You get straight axles. It's a solid kit. I think it's always on sale too. Like, what is it? 269, 279 most of the time. And then sometimes you can find it for just over $2. It's a solid kit. The only problem with it is if you don't like the transmission and the motor in the middle for like scale interiors. But there's ways around that. Skip the scale interior or tint the windows. Call it a day. So let me share screen. Let's look at this file I'm talking about real fast. I do want to hop off and go see Ty and the fellas and thank them for coming over. Let's see, share screen. Gotcha, Dwayne. They're cool. And I really do think I didn't always understand the 2-speed aspect. And then I started messing with 2-speed because in the snow, you're glad you have it. And most of these axials, they come with a dig, right? But you can do the 2-speed to them, but it's hardly worth doing, and it's a lot of messing around. But the SCX6 doesn't come with a dig; it comes with a 2-speed. And if you run 3S in it, it's awesome. Watch our videos of the 6s. We've done a few lately, and in the snow, we were getting it. But you could see my buddies, they had better tires than me, and they did not have to get in the beans as much as I did. And when I got in the beans, I definitely burned through my batteries quicker. But all right, so this is the file I'm talking about. And what's notable is, and why I want to buy this, is because I didn't really want a flatbed on my Unimog. But what's cool is the recommendations here from the creator tell you what you're going to get. So, and from a flatbed, you can make things off of it. But somewhere in this language, it mentioned the mounts. And I was super into that. Let's see. Slotted or groove floors for the beds, Fenders are grooved and rounded. Sideboards have mock rivets. Rear lights are functional. So that's cool. Lenses. 2 different bed styles: agricultural, more traditional, modern, even. 2 different bed widths. Split bed versions for smaller printers. That's nice. They've done that for you. Cut beds to allow for tall shock towers. So uncut beds to allow for the included redesign and shortened shock towers. 4 fender styles, 2 for 290 millimeter wheelbase and 2 for 313. 313 is what this one's going on, because it's the 2021 TRX4 has a long chassis like the K10s and stuff like that. The printing and assembling is easy. Where did it tell me that about the mounts? Short and stiffen redesigned shock towers ensure the bed does not need to be cut to allow for shock tower clearance. Shock tower extensions allow you to further fine-tune the ride height if necessary. This also means that 70 to 80 millimeter shocks on the rears are ideal to prevent too much unnecessary rubbing under articulation. With this setup, it provides a more realistic handling characteristic for the one-to-one counterpart. It also gives a really good looking ride height. The included shock towers are for use with the following chassis: SCX 10.2, 10.3, Vanquish VS4 10 Pro, TRX4, and TRX6. So that alone, the modularity between the manufacturers for this bed make me want these files, because I can adapt them for many uses. And it actually also makes me consider it makes me think about also potentially getting, even though I don't like the square, I got the rounder, older looking Mog body, I feel like, cab. But if he's got those mounts, I want them. And I want to see how he did it. His cab looks like it sits lower on the chassis than what I've got as well, which is another thing I'd be interested to see how he did it. Chances are, and I can about guarantee, the scale interior that I have is no longer fully present because of the ride height. But it sounds like this is also a very nice Unimog kit. And I think it's worth checking out. So I'm thinking about doing that, just to get the bed and the brackets, the mounts, so I can repurpose that stuff for something else. And it might even be worth it to buy the file for his cab too, just to see what he's done. Because if I really like the bed brackets that he's done and am able to utilize those, the thing is, once you have these files, it's hard for me to come up with something from scratch. I don't know CAD. But if something exists already, these files, I fully will stretch and manipulate them to do what I want them to. So I need the raw material first. I'm not really the guy who's making it from scratch, but I can stretch, cut, shrink, whatever, anything that exists already with just simple shapes. Cylinders, I can just stretch it and scale it or shrink it. But if I need a hole in it, I can do it. I just put a cylinder in there to the size I want, negative space it, and I've created a hole. I can do that with a floor that needs a big cutout for the transmission and stuff. I put a couple squares in there, click it, negative space it, and now it's not going to print that whole floor, because if I print the whole floor, I got to cut it out and it looks gnarly. So if I can get it right, a few little things I'm learning as I go with this 3D print stuff, man. Some negative spaces, basic shapes, which are all available to you. and I can even combine two different rectangles. I'm making the bracket I made for the front of my Travelall to mount to the chassis starts off being it's a rectangle, and then it curves up like this to sit right on the tub of the scale front end of that Travelall. And then in that flat piece that's got these curves, there's another triangle in there because the body post comes up from the bottom, and now I got a slot where I can put the body pin. And it looks fancy, but literally it was two triangles, it was a rectangle that I put two circles on part way and adjusted up or down and out to get where I wanted, hit negative. So it cut the curve out that I wanted, and then put another little rectangle in there in the middle of it, sized it down because I wasn't going to have enough room to body post all the way up through it. I'd have been into the hood, and I would have needed a body post that was like this. So I just put another negative space rectangle down there low so I could get it. And it seems really primary. I'm not a CAD guy, but a few basic shapes, knowing how to use the negative space tool and manipulate sizes of shapes, I can make almost whatever. And if these mounts that come with that bed if it comes perfect, but it's really concise, let's just say it's this, but I need it to do something else, I can add a rectangle to this thing, stretch it out, size it up, whatever I need to do to it to get it where I want to go. And I mean, honestly, too, like this shock tower, I could shorten it, I could stretch it out, I could make it wider without adding anything to it at all, also. But somebody's already done the work, and it's fantastic. I mean, this is like a Traxxas shock tower that's got the drag link mount already in it, like their stock ones. Can't beat it. Hey, I'm gonna dip, guys. It's been awesome. Check me out, and I'll see you in the next one. We'll be doing airplane talk a little more on Sunday, as is always the case. And there's a couple shows I'm probably gonna miss if I don't put together a premiere. I'm out of town. I think I leave the 15th or 16th or something, and I'm out of town for a week, which never happens. It happens once a year, actually, thanks to the family, in-laws. My in-laws love their grandkids, and the rest of us too. So what a blessing. I get to go hang out in Florida for a week at an Airbnb with the fam. And so I'll be gone. I may hop on cell phone style to say hello, but it'll probably be a short show. Unless I can dial in a premiere or something like that, which is going to mean I've got to premeditate my life rather than fly by the seat of my pants, as is usual. So we'll see. It just may be funny in a week or two. Not from here is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, the printer's fantastic. I'm trying to figure out how to contact Creality because they have an even bigger print bed deal they released not too long ago, and I want it also. So, but I don't know how to reach them. It wasn't as easy as it was with Bamboo. So I don't know. Who knows? I think if you're, it's not like my audience is huge, but it's real. You know, And if the Creality is significantly cheaper than the X1C, and the Bamboo these days, there's a lot of talk about them. I love mine without a doubt, but 300 millimeter print bed instead of 265 is pretty real. That's pretty real. So I'd love to have one. It would help on these sixes. I mean, I'm able to basically cut the sixes down the middle in half and print them up in bits. If I had to do, I mean, I think you can tell if you look at that Ford 250, it's got, they're different because it's multiple pieces, but I'm able to drag in the front clip, turn it up, slice it in half. And so one half of the front clip will fit on the print bed at a time. But a bigger print bed, if you didn't have to slice them, would be nice. Yeah, man. I love the Bamboo. Plug and play, easy. It's helped me get a lot of confidence. You know, it's like the planes, man. Like some of the bind and flies and ready to flies and stuff give people enough confidence to be able to try something that takes more doing on their own. Like I've learned enough with this Bamboo that if I had more setting up to do with something else, I'd be probably okay. But I think everybody knows that Bamboo's the benchmark and they're competing for that. So that means that the whole consumer base is benefiting from it all becoming easier all the time for anybody to do. You could print your face off forever without ever learning how to do CAD. There's enough stuff out there floating around that you could keep yourself busy having fun. And chances are somebody's already thought of it. I see when I'm looking at car stuff, I find all the time somebody's got a bezel for this thing that you can't find anymore or whatever in real life on a one-to-one. So, I mean, nameplates, there's all kinds of things. Whatever you can think of, somebody's doing it with these things. All right. I'm going to go check out Urban Legend, man, and say hi to those guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one. We're out here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. We'll 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. Bye now. And as Ty would say, I have to give him complete credit here. And it's hard not to want to do it. Chastity. Anyway. See you guys later. I'm going to the fun zone. I'll see you over there. Urban Legend RC. They should still be on. See you there. Bye, guys.